is like a grand finale. This is, and he's been an amazingly consistent performer on the separate ones. So let me just make sure I heard what you said. You're going to start off the series of trials with a single hot object down to get him going, and then when you agree, you're going to put both hot objects.
Yeah.
How many trials will we do?
10.
10.
Because
But there'll be.
if I do like, I need to give him room to fail because I'm pretty sure he will go for the cap all the first times because he likes that's better. So if I decide to make 5 trials and I use 2 of them to present, then I have 3 times and if he'll fail it, I want him also to succeed.
I love the phrase she just used. I think I'm going to borrow that, room to fail. I have to give him some room to fail. I know that sounds like we're not being very kind to the dog, but I think he has to make some errors, but we got to be careful not to have him make too many. Did I understand the first 5 trials will be a single hot object?
No.
And the second 5 will be 2?
No, the first 2 trials. One with the hat, one with the metal spoon, and then we'll...
2 fairly easy trials because there's no real difficult choice, 5 difficult trials.
Yeah. I hope, I don't know if it's easy.
I don't know, maybe it's easy. Could be easy.
Are you choosing the hot target for the rest? With the
Yeah, you can do that. You choose.
I rearrange, you choose.
So
both.
Yeah.
So it's really.
So we're letting Lena choose on those 5 trials which the sample will be rather
And
than
there are
one.
2 hot objects. Yeah.
And-
Otherwise, I will choose the cap all the time because it's.
And you said the proportion is we'd like to have 2 caps and 3 special. Did you say that?
No, I didn't say she decides.
Good. Lena, you got all the power. She says, finally.
Yeah. Like the.
Snipped everything on the way back. Snipped everything on the way back.
You choose? Yeah. Rigtig. Ja, det var fint. You choose? You choose? Hi. Come. Come here. Come here. You choose again?
One more? To make 5? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, so we're going to have 7 total, yes?
You choose?
I'm sorry, you're upstairs.
Rigtig. Sådan. Sådan. Super, Lin. Super. Så det er fint. You choose again? Rigtig. Rigtig. Sådan. Super, Lin. Super. Så flot. Nå, hvor er du dygtig. Hvor er du dygtig. You choose again? Schade. Super.
I have to breathe sometimes.
You choose again?
Flipper.
Fine.
So out of those 7 difficult trials, we had 3 errors?
Out of 10 trials, 3 wrong.
But the 2 first trials were pretty easy because there were no 2 hot objects, correct? So the first 2 trials, yeah, were just a little easier. No, we'll worry about it. So on the 7 more difficult trials, we had 3 errors?
Yeah.
But they weren't all the same error, correct?
No.
I mean, I think you were surprised. They weren't all, he went to the cap, went to the cap, went to the cap.
Yeah.
I think there were much more variable errors. And that trial where he actually stopped and went, oh my gosh, they're both there. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, that dog actually went, oh my gosh, what just happened? Circular wag, do you see his tail do the circular wag? That is like the universal friendly happy dog, that circular wag. I can't believe how much work you've gotten done in a couple of days. That, you're really at the point where that is a fair test for him. What did you feel like? I felt like that was a good session.
Yeah, I expected him to make some mistakes. So actually, I was quite happy that he got to, after the cap, he chose correct with the metal
Yes.
flipper.
So the 2 things that I would look at when you're keeping data, so just as you're looking at your errors, one of the things, Boss started to do it, but then he didn't do it through the whole thing, so I didn't want to point it out. But you just want to make sure that if you say flipper, and he goes out to choose the hat, if the next trial is flipper, and he gets it correct, we just want to say he could have gotten that correct because he's lose shifting, right? He's just switching the object. It's the same trial to correction trial. It's not that it's wrong, but as we look at the data, we just want to go, we want to be careful not to have too many of those. The way that you have this set up prevented you from inadvertently doing that to benefit him. You didn't know what the setup was, right? So, I mean, that was really helpful. But just take a look at those because those are a little less impressive when you show him the flipper, he goes out and chooses the hat, he gets it wrong. You show him the flipper again, the second time he gets it correct, that's great, but he could have done that not based on the concept, just based on changing his behavior after an error. Okay, so we just look at that in the data.
The other thing we should probably have made the list beforehand, because you would now choosing, watching, and choosing again. So the list should have been clear from the start, I guess.
We didn't tell you to do that, but that actually is helpful to just have the 10 trials ahead of time. And do you have to have 5 hats and 5 flippers? You don't have to balance every 10 trials, but get close to it because you don't want it to create a preference. The other thing we would just look at if we really were, the data sheets that you have are ones that I have used, but several of you working with them have modified the grid that I have. I had sent Nina a sheet that had just blank grids. The columns weren't labeled at all. They were completely open grids. So you can customize them, because I don't expect this to be the right score sheet for you guys. It's just one example. Because one of the things we'd also want to review, I know it would be difficult, but I want to know, is he always choosing the closest? Is he walking over objects? Is he have a preference to which side? I didn't see any. I didn't see a left or right or close bias, but I'd also just want to assure that's not a problem. So part of the data you might keep is the positioning of the items. You're like, oh my gosh, I'd have to write that down on every trial? Not yet, but do you see what I'm saying? We just want to assure we don't have that going on. It did look to me like you did. The dogs here this weekend have had much less of a position bias than I'm used to. Many dogs solve this by saying it's always the one on the right. I'm just going right. And I haven't seen as much of that. What would you comment on? It was such a good team. Anything you would add that was good learning or a good suggestion?
I think when we decided to have the audience, it should not be the first time because we are totally unprepared. Because if it's the second or third time, we would have decided that maybe we should have come out with it earlier, what we should call. Because actually, when I turned back, I don't even remember the one before this. I think it's a cap or a flipper. I don't even remember because I have to write whether it's right or wrong.
Yes. The data keeper actually has just about the hardest job, I agree. And yes, would it have been smart to not have your first, let's put the hot objects down with 20 people watching? Yes, but it was very fun for us.
I could tell.
It was such a pleasure to watch you. Actually, sincerely, it was such a pleasure to watch you. I'm going to cry. It was wonderful. Thank you very much, you guys. It was really wonderful. Thank you.